interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 71 of the Not a Robot Podcasts DC Comics review show. I hope everyone had a happy, enjoyable Thanksgiving. It's been a little hectic here on my end, but I think it'll be good to be back. But as always, I've got my amazing co-host here with me, Rob.
Happy late American Thanksgiving. I did not think of an intro. How's it going, folks?
Yeah, great. We can let you off the hook for this one.
All right, good. Thank you.
Shape up next week, I guess. And Josh, of course.
Hey, everybody. How's it going out there?
Today on the show, we will be covering the Joker 2021 Annual, Robin 2021 Annual, Batman Fear State Omega #1, the Batman 2021 Annual, Wonder Woman 2021 Annual, Justice League Dark 2021 Annual, Batman the Detective #6, Wonder Girl #4, Action Comics 1037, the Detective Comics 2021 Annual, Teen Titans Academy #9, the Nightwing 2021 Annual, and Justice League Incarnate #1. Now, I'm sure I know what you're thinking right off the bat. Yes, that is a lot of titles. Obviously, we will not have time to cover every single one of those in detail, so before we get into our main reviews, we will have a bit of a lightning round so that we can at least try to address all of the books that we want to before we finish up the show. As always,
we're gonna have one hell of a lightning round.
Yes, yeah, it's like the Marvel show, you know. We have a crap ton of books, but we get through them with plenty of lightning rounds. So just bear with us. We'll try and cover as much as we can. Of course,
recording on a Wednesday, we didn't have a whole lot of time to get through them.
No,
so I don't know any comic news either.
Yeah, I have no comic news this week. But of course, make sure you stick around until the end of each episode to hear our top 3 books for the week, the biggest stinker, and to find out which titles might just make the dump list. But before we get going with the show, I just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who help out with $1 or more a month. Thank you, listeners, too. You can, as always, like, download, and share our episodes so we get more listeners, bring you more content, and just have more fun. So you can get access to our Patreon and the rest of the Not a Robot Podcast shows at notarobotpodcasts.com. With that out of the way, I would say let's get into some news, but it sounds like we don't have a ton this week, so what's new with you guys, I guess?
One thing, Batgirl started filming.
Very cool, very cool.
There was a post of the first shot of the snap card. I don't know what they're called, that thing with the date and whatnot on it before they started filming, and a little shot of the set.
Oh, the clapboard.
Yeah, the clapboard, that's it. And a little bit of shot of the set, which has a code book on it, coding. Obviously, Barbara Gordon's going to be getting some coding. And her desk at potentially GCPD, where it says Officer Barbara Gordon, so that's a little interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right on. Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I guess let's go ahead and dive into them books, because there sure as hell is a lot of them, and Brandon's got finals to take. I
have life and school, as all of us do. Well, I mean, maybe not school, but for those of you listeners who maybe do have that, I'm sure you know the grind. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. Eats a lot of your time, and it makes you feel like shit. So sooner I can get that out of the way, the better. But we can at least try and have some fun with the books this week, right?
For sure.
Absolutely.
So we're going to kick it off with our lightning round, taking a look at some books very briefly, but still giving them enough lip service so that you know they're out there and what our opinions are on them. So to kick us off, we'll be looking at the Joker 2021 Annual. Josh will give us a quick summary of the book and some brief thoughts. So take it away.
This one was written by Matthew Rosenberg and James Tynion IV. Art inside and out by Francesco Francavilla. Letters by Tom Napolitano. This is just a giant flashback that goes way back to a time where Gordon had cleaned up the organized crime in Gotham and then started with the police force too. Meanwhile, the Joker started a few heists with some lower-class C-villains like Catman. Then he goes big, plays a prank, and a bunch of people are trapped inside piñatas. Ugh. It's an okay read, but I was hoping for something that actually tied into the story of Joker in Joker. That's what's going on. This honestly is a completely unnecessary read. The art is okay, but I think Francavilla's art is I think it's better than his colors, but only by just a little tiny bit. It felt okay, but this story also felt really bland to me. I walked away giving this a 6.75. I heard a phew.
Yeah. Well, I've only flipped through it myself, so but what I have seen, I can pretty much agree. It seems a little bland and cookie cutter and just yeah, not what we're expecting when we're at the height, at least what feels the height of the main story going on in Joker.
And Brandon, you didn't get a chance to read this one, did
I
you?
did not. I looked at it and I was like, yeah, no. I had
Like,
no
this is
Going to the
lightning. We
no
bottom.
can
interest
skip this shit.
whatsoever. I mean, I love
Nope.
Francesco Francavilla. I think flashback
I,
issues can be
I
cool.
usually do too.
But I had little to no interest in reading this particular one.
You did have interest in reading another,
I
though.
did have interest in reading another one, which is our next issue, the Robin 2021 Annual #1 from Joshua Williamson with art from Roger Cruz, inks from Victor Olazaba, and colors from Luis Guerrero. This is, I don't even think it's really fair to call it an annual. It's really more of a Secret Files issue. And basically gives us the backstory on, I mean, primarily focusing on Flatline at first, but then gives us kind of the backstories on the various other fighters that we've met in the Lazarus tournament so far. Some cool reveals, I think.
Eh.
Definitely some interesting stuff to chew on with regards to Rose Wilson and to Connor Hawk, our favorite Green Arrow, I'm sure. And kind of continue some of the character stuff they've been doing with Damien, while also developing some of the mysteries that are going on with the Al Ghul family. But I mean, really, it's not really an annual. It's more of just a collection of backstories and you know um, information about these
Like you said,
characters. So, yeah,
Secret
Secret Files
Files.
essentially.
Yeah.
So really, it should have just been called Robin Secret Files 2021. That would have been more fitting. Would have been more descriptive.
Right.
So I didn't think it was bad at all. Fairly standard artwork. Nothing that blew me away, but just kind of solid. I mean, if you want to know more about the fighters, this will entertain you. If you don't care, you don't have to pick it up. So it's right there in the middle for me. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I hit it with a 7. What for? Let me say, what a goofy ass but enjoyable cover.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. Um, it wrapped up a bunch of the mini Secret Files, like you said. It was great art, but I thought the content was boring. It was cool getting the info, but it was like a big info dump.
Yeah, it's
It probably
nothing.
probably should have got lower than a 7, actually.
Nothing necessary again, unless you are incredibly preoccupied with discovering the origins of Black Swan, Double XL, Flatline, Drenched, and all the other characters. It's not very necessary.
Yeah, at least
Right.
some of the side characters, most of the side characters only got like a one-page spread, so that's
Yeah.
like XXL seems like an interesting character. I don't even remember the Drench from the main story, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But bigger characters like Flatline, Respawn, and Hawk to get a backstory on that, I think is really welcome, especially with Hawk, because that's. Does anybody remember the last time we saw Hawk?
It's like
In
right before Cry for Justice, I think, or maybe right after Cry for Justice, where he had somehow inexplicably regained his memories after having them removed in the Green Arrow Black Canary story, and then had the whole thing where he was really trying to work with what's her name, um, Mia Dearden, the Speedy at the time, to basically get like Oliver to calm the fuck down and like not flip his shit because Star City had been destroyed, and we all know how that ended. But
what year was that?
yeah, that was like 2010, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did think there was something that was cool, something that I hope that they can delve into a little bit more, which is um, the brief moment where Connor seemingly is just like erased from history, whereas like in a flash
Mhm.
everything was removed, and then he wakes up on a beach, which
Yeah.
I think could make for a really cool story of all the characters that kind of got wiped away in the Flashpoint and seemingly just
Yeah.
reappeared, and it's like all this time they were gone, and people didn't even know. It's like, what would that do to your mind? I think there's a cool story there.
Yeah. What that would bring us to, I think, three characters that have gone through that with Connor Kent, Connor Hawk, and Bart Allen, I believe, and Wally West as well. So
Yeah, all the
yeah,
Connors.
yeah, yeah, all the
All
Connors.
the Connors.
Connors and Flashes,
That's it.
the downtrodden of the DC. That's about all I've got to say about Robbins, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I've enjoyed the series.
Mhm.
This annual was kind of it was all right.
Yep. All right, on to our next lightning round review, unless Rob, you had any more thoughts about the Robin Annual.
No, no, I'm pretty good there.
Yep. Our next book is the Batman Fear State Omega, I guess, coda to the Fear State event, because we're still not done. But
Right.
Josh, why don't you get us up to speed on that?
All right, written by James Tynion IV with art by Riccardo Federici, Christian Duch, Ryan Benjamin, Gilliam March, Trevor Hairzine, colors by Chris Sotomayor, letters from Clayton Cowles, and a cover by Jamal Campbell. So there's three parts to this. The first 20 pages or so are Scarecrow being transported to the hospital, has an attempted escape, and then Batman puts Scarecrow into the Batmobile and takes him himself. The conversation between Batman and Scarecrow come to a close when Batman starts giving a speech on how the future isn't scary to him or anybody else anymore. Then he drops Crane off at Arkham Tower and with Dr. Chase Meridian. Over in Eden, Ivy and Harley are really happy, taking a nap together. Catwoman and Gardner kind of get catty, but and Selina is there making sure that the part of Ivy is present, the one that she cares about. And as Catwoman leaves, Ivy rises and tells Gardner that she will have no say or play in what Poison Ivy's person or future will be. Cut to Clown Hunter, who is approached by Batman. Bao reacts defiantly and rejects Batman's offer for training before it was even offered. And then Ghostmaker shows up and says, how about I train you to use a sword? You can't kill people, but you can hurt them really bad. And Bao goes, hell yeah. That's it. There was a lot that happened, but not a lot of meat to it. Really, there was a lot of smooth transitions between the artists. While a completely uneventful book, it looks fantastic. For such a huge book, though, this was way less than I expected. It could have been contained within a backup or a mini issue digital. This didn't need a full issue at all, let alone being displayed in such a big format as what Fear State Omega should have been. You just didn't need this issue at all. I am glad I got it, though, because it was sure nice to look at. It looks great, but it lacks substance in any form. 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, this was really just a where are they now kind of deal, with some small setups for the future. And okay, so they put Scarecrow basically to be a player in Shadows of the Bat, as we'll talk about later in Detective Comics with Dr. Chase Meridian. But then they also turn around and take away the only interesting part about the Gardner Secret Files issue, and that she implanted something into Ivy that would give her something to control. But Ivy's like, nah, fuck you, I'm not doing that. And now what? Is that the end of the story? Like, where's that going now? Is she really just able to get rid of any conditioning the Gardner may have put in? So that's kind of disappointing. And I also found it weird that Batman's able to just spill everything about how he's feeling with Scarecrow. And I get he's a therapist, but it's Batman. He'll spend more time brooding and silent than he will talking with anybody, let alone one of his villains. So that I felt kind of awkward. Um, but like you said, beautiful to look at. 7 out of 10 for me. It was very well drawn all around.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 7 out of 10, but a waste of $5. Because I am probably never going to read this issue again, at least not in the near future. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I recently put out a kind of like it was more like a bullshit thing because I was bored and I was procrastinating. I didn't feel like writing something I had to for class, so I did like a a mini retrospective of the Tynan run. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, well, we just read 32 issues. What was the point? Like, there had to be something, right? So I'm sure at some point when I do yet another retrospective of the James Tynan Batman saga, I'm sure I'll be forced to reread this. But as for now, it was kind of a waste. Like, it just ties everything together in a flat and uninteresting way. I didn't care at all. Um, and I was like almost struggling to keep myself interested. Now that I think about it, I'd probably put it like a 6 out of 10, honestly. I feel like I was being nice with a 7. The art is very nice in some places, but my interest was not there. I was struggling to finish it where I didn't care anymore. And things that I think were supposed to feel more, I don't know, genuine or deserved did not at all. Like Clown Hunter joins with Ghostmaker, and you're supposed to be like, oh wow, look at him, he's doing his thing. All I could think of was like, wow, I really don't care. So yeah, it was a comic. That's it. Save your money. I'd say that too.
Yeah.
We are nowhere near done with Batman at all today.
No, we are not. And in fact, we are not done with any of the newer Batman characters, as the next issue that we will be looking at follows one of those characters exactly, and that is the Batman Annual, 2021 Annual to be specific, which Rob will tell us all about.
All right, so this is another wrap-up from a James Tynan, the fourth creation, with Ricardo Lopez Ortiz also helping out with the writing duties this time around, and also taking on all of the art with colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr. and letters from Clayton Cowles. So this is the finale to the Ghostmaker saga, and we see him finally get to the tower on Devil Skull Island. He takes on his foes one more time, taking down each one with impressive skill, and he makes his way to Madame Midas, who he also has a history with from his childhood. He wins the day, and back in the present, he and Batman go off on another adventure. It's a very simple story, but also, I think, a nice look at his origin, his past, and kind of the whole point to this entire adventure. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't hate the ending. The art was nice, but left a lot to be desired. It's a little awkward at times. And I do like Ghostmaker as a character, but I wish the backups and the story were maybe a bit better constructed because there was a lot of wasted time. As for this issue, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it for what it is. I just hope for better stories from this character, because of all the James Tynan IV creations throughout his Batman run so far, I think Ghostmaker's the coolest. And that is exclusively in a childlike manner. I think he's just badass. He's got swords, he's got weapons, he's got like his own, like, he's like Moon Knight and Batman rolled into one. Yeah. He's so cool. And that's all that is to me. So
I'll give you that. Ghostmaker is a pretty cool character.
Cool design. Cool design. Yeah. It'll make a great. I think one of the funniest jokes I ever heard is like, it'll make a great McFarlane toy. It will.
I would buy that in an instant.
Yeah, but as for his actual characterization, well, I feel like that's a matter of opinion.
I mean, at least when you compare him to all the other creations we've got, like Gardner and Bow and Miracle Molly, he seems the most interesting.
Don't forget the designer.
Yeah.
Look, I think that the colors are absolutely fantastic throughout the whole issue, but I'm not a big fan of this art style. Though I honestly couldn't stand the entirety of the Ghostmaker backup run. This ending was better than I thought it would be, but that wasn't a very high bar to begin with. The pages I did like were the few that were about his origin. The group of villains were lame. The art was uninteresting. And, I mean, I think Ghostmaker could be a pretty cool character. I like that it showed he's been screwed in the head since he was a little kid. And if we get more of this character in the future, I hope, on a solo thing, I hope it is more of his backstory, and just keep it grounded and not whatever the hell this was. And I know I'm still stuck on the laser shooting tiger heads, but come on.
But they're so cool.
Yeah, I can consent. That's just kind of that's like a childlike version of cool. Like, I can be like, all right, that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun.
6.25 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yuck.
Those laser tigers did a number on you.
Yeah. I did not read this one. I liked Ghostmaker as a backup. I did not have any interest in reading a full issue dedicated to him, let alone an annual. I may check it out at some point, but probably not. But I think should I ever see this character again, it would be in a much smaller capacity. I don't need a series dedicated to Ghostmaker or anything like
No.
that.
Not really.
Yeah.
I could see him joining the Outsiders.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You know, throw him in the mix a little bit, but I don't know that he's someone that I would want to follow closely. Next up is our Wonder Woman 2021 annual, which I don't. Are we still covering this one, or I have no idea?
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
it. Are you guys still there?
Oh
Yeah, I was waiting for you to
because it
start.
got really quiet.
Yeah.
for a
Sorry,
second.
everything just went all quiet real quick. All right.
You said, yeah,
So,
you said,
Wonder
you said
Woman
you caught it. I was
annual-
like, are you? Oh, okay. All right, go.
Excellent. Oh, I'm glad I followed through on that one. Written by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan, with art from Andy McDonald, colors by Nick Filardi, letters from Pat Brazeau, and a cover from Mitch Garretts. While Wonder Woman is doing hero stuff, stopping a bank robbery with hostages, of course, like she was in the movies, we're introduced to a dude named Altum the Survivor. Apparently his people, the Anki, were the original inhabitants of Themyscira until the gods threw them out, of course. And now, now they live on a submarine. They fight. He escapes by blowing up the museum that they were talking in. A few days later, he calls her on her cell phone and taunts her about the future of Themyscira. End of book. It was interesting, way better than what we've had. It was very pretty to look at, and I actually dug it. I just hope that this doesn't turn into a very generic Wonder Woman story, which it very well could. But this issue, I gave an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, this upcoming, I don't even know if it's an event or if it's an ongoing book, but it's getting interesting and exciting. There's threads coming from all over the DC universe. I'm excited for what's it, Trial of the Amazons is called?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be a war between all three of the tribes.
Yeah, plus a tribe nobody's ever heard of before. And the Yankee, they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's technically, 4 tribes.
yeah. So
And one of them's got dudes. What?
Yes, this is going to be interesting. I enjoyed this story. It was a bit slow at times, but that's what happens when you're in an art museum. It's just,
Right.
it was interesting. I liked it. I'm excited for the future of Wonder Woman. And I haven't been a big purveyor of Wonder Woman in the past, but this is getting me really interested.
Nice.
Sweet.
I did
More
not
people
get a
should be
chance
Wonder
to check
Woman
this one
fans.
out, but it sounds like there's some interesting stuff. So hopefully I'll get some extra time too, or extra time soon to give it a read. And I do hope
I
that
suggest because it's a lot better than what we've had.
that's good. That's good. And I do hope that the build up to Trial of the Amazons is good, as well as Trial of the Amazons itself. And hopefully that's better than previous Wonder Woman events, War of the Gods and Amazon's Attack included, because those are not good.
Yeah, right.
Those are like birdcage liner. Anyway.
Tell us how you really feel.
Basically. Next up we have the Justice League Dark 2021 annual #1, which Rob will also catch us up to speed on.
Right. This is going to be very short because I've had a chance to flip through it, and that's pretty much it. So this is from writer Ram V and Dan Waters, mostly from Dan Waters, with art by Christopher Mitten, colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by Rob Lee. Basically, this boils down to the JLD are recuperating after Merlin's actions in Atlantis, and they then receive warnings of future issues that might arise from Merlin and other players in the mystical field. It's kind of, at least the parts I've read seem a little off because we haven't actually got the last backup, so it might feel a bit off. So because we don't know how it ends in Atlantis with Merlin, we don't know where he's going from here, but it looks like everybody leaves alive. So, yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see. We've talked about JLD continuing after this. Ron V is taking a break from DC, save his run on Swamp Thing, and we have looked at Dan Waters taking over. I say that like we're the editors and we're deciding who writes it,
I
but let's
know,
face it,
honestly.
we fucking called it.
I mean, basically,
Yeah, it's not
like,
confirmed yet, but
literally,
it looks like Dan
we were
Waters.
like a month ago saying that exact same thing of Dan
Yeah,
Waters, perfect fit, already done Lucifer, and
exactly.
is friends with Ram V. They're in the same writing studio. Would make perfect sense to take over, and it
Hmm.
happens.
Yeah, and there's a
Well,
lot of stuff set up in this, so it's perfect. I gave this 8 out of 10 from what I have seen. It's very interesting, and I can't wait to see what happens. I really hope something happens, and
Mm,
Dan Waters the one writing it.
yeah.
and I'm telling you, either we're like when the three of us get together, we're like a psychic superpower, or like the chief creative officer of DC listens to our show. There are only two possibilities.
I used
We
to.
are the
It happens
fates.
way too often.
I used to
We are
think
the three
that.
fates of lore.
Yeah, I used to think that
Yeah.
when I was a kid, except for Legos, because I felt like every time I would like design my own thing, I remember this vividly. There was a version of Anakin's ship from the Star Wars Clone Wars, like the 2003 version from Genndy Tartakovsky, and I loved it. I loved
Hmm.
that design because it had like the total tangent, but it had like these twin turbines in the front, and it looked really cool. And I remember trying to basically make my own version of it, and I had it and I was like, it would be so cool if Lego came out with their own version. And I swear to God, literally a year later, they had that exact same fucking design, almost exactly the way that I had built it, but just in a different color. And I was like, someone's watching my
You're
house. Someone,
Oh yeah,
someone,
Lego
you're
is
gonna
someone
you're
spying on
gonna
from.
you.
think I'm
I
full of
know. I was
shit.
like, someone from Lego is watching my house. Uh,
There's a camera on
I
every
know.
block.
They know.
You're gonna you're gonna think I'm full of shit, but I swear this is true. My brother and I were ginormous Ninja Turtles fans as small children. And we had literally every toy. That's all anybody got us for gifts or all we saved our money up for. We wrote in a letter with some character ideas, and keep in mind we were like 8 or 9, 9 or 10, somewhere in that area. And we wrote in a letter with the idea for a lion that was a king, used a sword. We wanted a ninja rabbit and manta ray. And while obviously we're not claiming credit for Usagi Yojimbo,
I know. Stan Sakai would
he
like
did
some
get
words.
Imagine.
he did get brought into the Ninja Turtles universe. We got Braveheart the lion and the character Manta Ray. They scalped it from some small children.
Perhaps. You'll have to have a very
And
candid conversation with Stan Sakai the next time he's at New York Comic Con or something.
Right?
You stole my idea, you bastard. When I was 10, I came up with the idea of a ninja rabbit.
Yeah,
I
no. Yojimbo was out way before we had that. But I do. I mean, I am saying, he was brought into the Ninja Turtle universe in both comic and cartoon form.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
But yeah, the Justice League Dark 2021 annual. Had I had really high hopes for this one just because I was like, oh, I know they're bringing in Dan Waters, he's great at horror and he's really great at kind of the more macabre thinking of some of the
right.
mystical characters, especially in Lucifer, which I still need to finish. So I was like, oh, perfect fit. And once I saw the cover for Mr. E, I was like, oh shit, they're bringing back Mr. E, or at least I haven't seen Mr. E in a gazillion years. Not personally, of
Right.
course. I mean, well, I mean, yeah, actually, I do mean personally because Mr. E and I are best friends. We have coffee every week. But no, it's
Weird.
yeah, no, it's like I was really excited for this one, and
Unbelievable.
it didn't disappoint. I found myself really interested in how this kind of sets up the future for the JLD, ties a bow on some of the Merlin stuff, as well as trying to really craft a new way forward. And my hope is that JLD now that it's no longer going to be a backup in Justice League, will be able to claw its way back into its own ongoing title with Mr. Dan Waters. But well, we shall have to see.
Story-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
story-wise.
story-wise.
I really like
Story-wise,
this
it's
one.
had one hell of a setup, one hell of a journey to get to where it's at, and it's a fantastic launching point that could take it in a great direction.
Yeah, I think
They've given Ram V the chance to do that. Here's hoping. And I've got faith in Waters, but I don't have faith in readers.
Jeez,
And
call
you
out.
know what I mean? And, well, I mean, honestly, if you want to hear this, if you want to read these stories, do it more than once every 6 months. Because if you don't, it's going to end up with 10,000 readers again, and the line will get scrapped.
Yeah, that's sort of my hope, is that this can reinvigorate people to pick up Justice League Dark again and be excited for that book and want to support it enough that it can maintain its own title for a while. But
Right.
only time will tell.
Look at it this way. We dropped the front part of the book and just covered the backup.
Yeah.
It's that good. If you haven't been reading it, start reading it now.
Yeah, well, again, it is, it became impossible for us to really even talk about that book anymore. Not because it was bad, but because you can't. You can divorce the back from the front, but in terms of financially supporting it, you can't, right? So the only way you're going to
Right.
get Justice League Dark, in a financial way, is to continue buying Justice League, which again has kind of that adverse effect of, you buy Justice League, that means that book is going to do well, and obviously some people have opinions on that. So my advice,
Yeah.
make sure
Don't
that
support
this
that
yeah
shit.
my advice, make sure that this annual does well, and I believe there is a collected version of all the backups coming sometime next year. And I hope that one does well enough too. And if they haven't already brought back JLD by that point, then I'm sure one of the factors into bringing back JLD will be how that collected edition performs, as well as how the annual performs. So
And whether or not Waters will write it.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
really, there's nobody else that would fit right now.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best person you could get, and it certainly seems like he has a lot of passion for these types of characters. So let's do our best to make it happen.
Indeedly do. It
Yep.
needs to get off the ground, but something else is coming to a close.
Yes. So for my score, I gave this one an 8 out of 10. I really dug it. But our next book is a conclusion, rather, a series we'll be saying goodbye to, and I feel somewhat satisfied in that. And that is Batman the Detective, number 6. So I'm going to let Josh give us the final conclusion on that story.
All right. Well, it's been a good run so far, Tom Taylor. You're writing by him, pencils from Andy Huber, inks from Sandra Hope, colors from Brad Anderson, letters by Clem Robbins, cover by Kuber and Anderson. Well, so this final issue is about Batman deciding to be a better Batman, which at this point sounds a little too familiar right now. That said, we start out with Equilibrium breaking her goons out of jail. Batman, Squire, and Ducard go to London to track her down. When there's a distress call with GPS in it that goes off, it's Ducard with the location of the White Knights. Batman shows up just in time, and they whoop the snot out of the bad guys. Ducard tries to shoot Equilibrium, and Batman saves her. When that is pointed out, she tries to blow her head off, but Batman saves her again. That drives her nuts. End of the story. It wasn't a bad ending. I enjoyed the run. I guess it wasn't supposed to be a bombastic story or like a mind blowing story.
But it was slightly lackluster.
It was slightly lackluster, but it was a better than average Batman story, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like that.
Like, it was a pretty damn good regular Batman story. And the art in this thing, damn, it's pretty.
Yeah, no, that
I give this
goes
an
without
8 out of
saying.
10, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't score this one because I can't, because I just don't have a decisive opinion on it yet. because I don't know if I'm disappointed or if I just need to re-examine what this series was all about. So I think before I can make any kind of conclusive end, I'm gonna need to reread the entire series. Oh, gee, what a shame! I get to reread this beautiful-looking book. Um, God, woe is
Whatever
me.
will I do?
However,
Oh,
will I
no.
do it? No, I don't know yet. Like, yeah, I think for this one, I think I need a little bit more time with the series as a whole before I make some final thoughts. So, um, we'll see. I as a read, it's an enjoyable read, but again, in terms of how I felt about the conclusion and the overall, I think I need some more time with it. Um, but who knows? You might see an article from me about that soon. I'm sure it'll be
Oh, fair
long and
enough.
rambling as usual.
Looking forward
It's
to it.
Yeah, it's an end.
Woo!
I enjoyed it, but like,
My
yeah,
God, what an endorsement! It is an
this book
ending. It does
ends.
exist.
Yeah, it really is hard to give a firm opinion on it right now without really sitting down and taking a hard look at the entire run. I enjoyed it.
Which basically is saying from both of them, and I mean, admittedly, me, you could go ahead and wait for the trade on this one, but it's a
Yeah,
good story.
Yeah,
it might be better as a trade.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, because I normally you might get to a conclusion that's kind of lackluster and say like, yeah, don't even bother. Like this story was pointless. But I don't feel that way about this. I want to make that clear. Like when the trade comes out, or however you want to read it digitally, or even by single issues if that's your preference. Like I would still definitely recommend checking it out. Honestly,
Hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
in terms of how the whole story works. I think I need to spend a little bit more time thinking about that.
There were definitely some things that worked really well, and there were other things looking back that I still kind of question how much it makes sense. But
Mm.
again, as comic books, it can only make sense so much. So yeah,
Well, that and
I
it's alt
still,
universe.
Yeah.
yeah, I still really enjoyed it. Batman caught a bullet. How many
That
times
was
are you going to see
rad.
that? That was badass.
That
As we used to say, that was badass.
was
So
badass.
Jesus.
yeah,
You might even say he
so
kicked some bat ass in this issue.
oh,
Oh,
he damn well did.
yeah.
What do you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Christ.
like
That
he's
joke fell flat. That's
Yeah, I
bad.
think you just said it too fast. I got it, but like I had to think about it for like 10
yeah.
seconds.
Oh. He straight up drove his car off a bridge into a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's
Yeah.
8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10, but it definitely needs a proper retrospective
Yeah.
as a whole when the trade comes out.
Yeah.
That straight up reminded me of that super old meme that was that one dude picking up another dude and it said, "I'll beat a motherfucker with a motherfucker." Anyway, side note.
All right. And for our
Right.
final of the lightning rounds, we'll be taking a quick look at Wonder Girl #4 before we head to a brief commercial break. So, Rob, why don't you
Right.
tell us all about Wonder Girl?
I will gladly tell you all about Wonder Girl and all of the Wonder Girls inside. So this is writer Joelle Jones with art by Adriana Mello, colors from Jordi Belair, and letters from Pat Brosseau. Yara Flor is rejecting the god's offer of eternal servitude and eternal life in godhood and fights to make her way back to Earth, sadly losing her horse in the process. While Cassie gets introduced to the third Amazon tribe, the Escacita, in the city of Akahim, only to discover that Donna Troy is already there and that this new tribe wants to go to war with Themyscira. This book just gets more and more interesting every issue. Last issue was slow, but this was damn well better. Uh, Honestly, Yara rejecting went exactly how everybody could imagine. There wasn't much of a cliffhanger last issue, but fuck, losing the horse. That broke my heart.
Oh.
But I don't. I want to say the horse was in future state. I don't remember.
Yeah, the horse is in future
Okay,
state.
so yeah, probably just a patsy.
Acting the exact same way, where she's got to call him like a half a dozen times before he shows up because
Yeah.
Jerry's a jerk.
You damn voice. He's just playing dead. He's not actually dead. He's like, no, fuck that cloud punched me. I am out of this fight. You're on your own, Lara. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. The art is beautiful, and I'm again just super excited for Trial of the Amazons. It's got so many threads going towards it, including Wonder Girl, and we have 3 Wonder Girls. Like, we have Batgirls, we can have Wonder Girls. I To call it just Wonder Girls seems a little bit of a misnomer at this point. Yeah, the main character is Yara Flor, but you got Donna and Cassie in it.
Whoa,
So,
whoa, hold on.
what?
Donna Troy is no more Wonder Girl than
Well,
Nightwing is Robin.
She was.
She was.
Hey,
And as
Nightwing
we
is in a book called Robins.
yes, as we have learned from the Robins, just because you stop being a Robin doesn't mean you will never.
Yeah.
You're no longer a Robin.
Exactly. Once a Robin, always a Robin.
Exactly.
There you go.
Isn't that right? What shit? I said her name. Never mind.
Were you talking about Carrie Kelly?
Carrie Kelly.
Yeah.
You shut your face. God. Jesus.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think this
You guys
was
make me sad.
I was kind of sour on 3. I think just because it had been so long since 2 had come out, and I felt like 3 was just I did not care at all. This was definitely better, and I'm wondering if that was because they were really able to factor in some more of the Wonder family, especially with Cassie. It's just really nice to see her kind of doing stuff and all the stuff with Yara as well. And I at least for me, I definitely felt like I was more on board with this issue than with the last issue. So I'm hoping that this kind of direction is where they're going to be going moving forward in the next couple of issues, because I can definitely get behind that. So this one got a 7.75 for me. I was pleasantly surprised with this one and enjoyed it.
Right on. I liked it too. I think the apprehension that I felt a little bit, and I'm sure it came from you too, was the fact that we were getting the exact same kind of story. Wonder Woman / girl is up in the with the gods, dealing with god shit. And thankfully, Yara took a quick turn from that in this book, and it looks like we'll be going. See, to me, Jerry looked like he died, but I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of magic that brings him back. I'm glad the Akahim were brought in, or however you say that, because that's going to be a lot of interesting story. And the rest of it, I think Milo and Belair kill it, and I love the artwork. I think it's pretty good. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
You might even say that Joelle Jones is a Wonder Girl. Oh,
Indeed.
Christ!
Yeah.
I want to walk out of a 5-story building after that one.
Well, Jones just wrote it, if I'm not mistaken. It was Milo and Belair that did the art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
Although
yes.
I mean, Jones is a fantastic artist.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
solid,
deny
solid
that
writer and
whatsoever, but
artist.
So
Yep.
one would say they're Wonder Girls.
They're Wonder Girls.
Indeed.
Just like
3
Donnie
of
and
them.
Castle.
What the
book
fuck?
should be.
And Yara.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Like Donna, Yara, and Cassie.
And Jordy and Joelle and Adriana. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Pat, you're cool too.
Yeah, you're cool too. You're like
Yeah. You're Steve Trevor.
exactly. All right, we will be
Wait, is Pat Brousseau?
Unless he's a
Pat's
tomb.
unisex.
yeah.
Really, is Pat male or female? Pat Brousseau doing that?
Pat? I have no clue.
Yeah, it's a guy.
I
That's
assume.
okay.
Unless Pat is I have no idea. Anyway, we will be
He could be one of the Enki, though.
He could. He definitely
Oh,
could.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got a weird eye.
Yeah.
He's got weird eyes.
Eyes.
We will be back after this brief commercial break. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Now, back to our program.
All right, we are back. Hope that wasn't too horrible. Thanks for sticking with Not a Robot. Now we will be getting back into our main reviews for this evening. And first, we will be starting off with Action Comics number 1037. This is part 2 of the War World saga, and is, of course, brought to us by writer Philip Kennedy Johnson with art from newcomer, but certainly not a newcomer to the Not a Robot catalog, I guess, of artists that we enjoy, and that is Miguel Mendonça, with colors from
Oh, heck
Adriana
yeah.
Lucas, letters from Dave Sharp. So the Warworld Saga Part 2, at least, is very much the battle issue, the action issue. If everything has been building up to this, this is where the fighting gets bloody, and it does indeed get bloody, as we see,
And looks good
and
while it's
looks
happening.
very, very good while it's happening. But really, this issue just focuses on Superman and the Authority taking down. I'm gonna steal the term that Rob used the last time we were talking about Action Comics, Mongols Black Order, to basically
There you go.
make their way towards taking down the big man himself. But unfortunately, the Authority really get the shit kicked out of them, as Mongols' secret cabal, secret horde, is a lot stronger than they expect, as they are able to make quick way of the Enchantress, Apollo, and, very surprising, Light Ray, who seemingly gets squashed by one of the members of the cabal. Excuse me.
The one that surprised the hell out of me the most was Apollo. I mean, he's Superman but beefed up,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
and he just got ran through, dude. By that, was it just me, or did that big ass monster remind you of that? What freaking it was a Resident Evil movie, and I think the word that came after it started with a V.
oh, I don't
I
know
can't
that
remember
one.
for sure though, but he was like this big, ugly ass mutant kind of looking dude, and this guy reminded me of that for some reason.
Interesting. No, I wasn't surprised by the Apollo one, at least, because Apollo's always been a bit more impulsive, a bit more brash than Superman, at least. So watching him
Yeah,
just
that's for sure.
spring into action, like, all right, let's get at this shit, and then basically get stabbed for it, was was a sign that Apollo doesn't always think ahead, at least not in combat situations. But yeah, the Authority. Really, this issue is
to
just,
say the least.
if you were thinking, oh geez, Superman and the Authority are going to make quick work of Warworld. This isn't even going to be a challenge. That is not the case at all. They literally get the shit kicked out of them. And again, the one that surprised me the most was definitely Light Ray, who seemingly gets crushed by one of the members of the Cabal as she tries to save what she thought was a baby, an innocent, who was trapped by this member, but in fact was not, and seemingly pays the price for it, as she is crushed and possibly dies. Although, given all the allusions we've had to the importance of Light Ray, I guarantee this will not be the last we see of Light Ray, nor the other members of the Authority. But again, really,
this could be the transitional piece that happens with Light Ray that turns her into light side.
yeah, it very well could be. We shall have to see. But after Superman watches his team pretty much get crushed by all the members of the Cabal, he himself gets stabbed by Mongol, as the rest of the, I don't really know what to call them, the United Planets Watch Team, or whatever they are, that's been monitoring the whole
Council.
situation, the Council, basically decide that the best course of action is to sit there and do nothing, twiddle their thumbs, and just wait it out, because they don't want to get invaded, and they sure as hell don't want to make his son angry. Wow, that sounds like total shit to me, but I guess they decide it's what's best for them. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, John is having a bit of a identity crisis. John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, of course, as after the events, I assume, of Justice League, Death Metal, and everything else that he's been going through, he really doesn't know where he is in this world, and he's hoping that maybe by solving some crimes, he'll be able to kind of find, what he's actually supposed to be doing, figure out his place. There is some kind of mystery involved with the Metropolis Police Department of some missing kids and that sort of thing, but we're not given the full picture on it yet. While John is investigating a mystery at a local art museum, but before he can get any more information about that, who should show up but old classic, and one I believe to be dead, Martian Manhunter villain, the Human Flame, to wreak havoc. So that's Action Comics 1037.
It's me, your boy.
Yeah, it's the Human Flame.
What the fuck,
Do
dude?
you remember me from Final Crisis and Detective Comics in the 50s? I think he showed up like once.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I remember reading this interview about Final Crisis from Grant Morrison, and they were talking about how they wanted Martian Manhunter to have this really poetic death in I think it's like the second or third issue, and Grant was really struggling because he was like, well, Martian Manhunter doesn't have any good villains. Like you could have a poetic death from Joker for Batman, or Lex Luthor for Superman, or Cheetah for Wonder Woman, or whatever the case may be. But I remember literally reading something like Martian Manhunter doesn't have any villains because they're all like lame and no one cares about them, except for the one character that you remember, the Human Flame. And I was like, oh, that's nice. So I don't know. It'll be fun to see him back in a little bit. But yeah, this was a cool issue. At least the main story was. The backup was okay. Nothing grand, really. I gave that one a 7 out of 10. But the main story, as with the rest of the series, has just been amazing so far. Just really captivating. Even if this one was, not quite as rich in story, you certainly get a sense of the brutality of War Worlds and Mongol, and how hard this saga is actually going to be in freeing Warworld. And I hope they do have some more of the kind of space politics involved with the council, who are trying to figure out just what the hell they're going to do with the Warworld situation and Superman. All of that stuff is just really fascinating, and I think Johnson and Mendonça and everyone else in this team have just been doing a really great job. And speaking of Miguel Mendonça, I was worried about the shift from Daniel Sampere to Miguel Mendonça. Not that Miguel isn't talented. We obviously know that's not the case. Just read Justice League Last Ride, but Daniel Sampere was incredibly talented, and it was kind of a little bittersweet to lose him. But I think this issue should alleviate any concerns. He just really knocks it out of the park. There are a couple places where the faces are a little weird, but other than that, I really had no problems. And Mendonça does an excellent job just capturing the scale and the scope and the brutality of Warworld. So I came away really satisfied. So the main story got an 8.5. If you're not reading Action Comics, you should be. That's all I'll say. Backstory got a 7.5.
Right on.
Yeah.
The Martian Manhunter story, I like it. It's good, but it could easily be pointless. I hope it doesn't end up that way. Human Flame is his ideal villain. That's a little fucking sad. But it looked great, and I'm hoping for the best, so I gave it a kind 7.5. Action Comics, I was like, what the hell? I did not expect all of that to happen so fast. I mean, damn. They killed everybody. Not killed, but I mean, they got messed up.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. It looks great. It caught me off guard. It feels a bit unpredictable. So thank you very much, PKJ, and team. PKJ. But this one I gave a 9.25 out of 10. The book as a whole was pretty damn enjoyable. The art story, I'm in so deep, dude. Nice. 8.75 for the whole book.
Well, I don't know, Josh. Reading Action Comics from PKJ definitely feels like I might need an EKG, given how it makes my heart just throb so profusely. I hate these jokes
because
so
even
much.
Though we know what we know where it's supposed to be headed, and we still don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, way to go. That's a hell of a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope you get a chance to, like I said, I mean, I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I think we were talking off the show about this, but actually seeing Philip Kennedy Johnson at New York Comic Con, and the fact that Guy had like little to no attention at his booth, even though he's doing one of the best Action Comics runs I think a lot of us have read in a while, was just a travesty to me. So I really hope this guy just gets a chance to do more in the DC universe and blow up his profile a little bit, because the talent is absolutely there, and he totally deserves
Fucking a right. Totally deserves it.
Yeah.
Totally deserves it. Well, I guess back away from Superman, we go back to Earth, and get 3
Well,
Batman
not
adjacent titles in a
not
row?
quite, because I think Rob might want to
Oh,
get
yeah,
into
that's
words.
right. Rob. I forgot Rob. Sorry, man.
No worries, no worries.
Not done just yet.
As a very, very quick review for me, and holy shit, what a book is basically the synopsis I have. Honestly, in terms of page count, almost least amount of pages for the week, but damn, was this the heaviest book. It just, oh damn, we talked about that death, all the death, so much death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everywhere
Yeah,
and unexpected.
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the only one that didn't get messed up with Manchester Black.
Yeah,
I
she
know,
was busy
right?
messing up other bitches. So.
At least he's a sly
that was
bastard,
funny.
so I found his way.
Yeah, the old ways do best.
Yeah.
Beat
He's
some
going to
guy
end up
with a
having to
baseball
play
bat.
hero and save whoever's savable.
Oh god.
That's
Yeah.
all I know.
That'll be funny.
That's it. My question was, what happened to Light Ray is, that's that again. Like that's why that was one of the most shocking deaths.
Yeah, that's why I'm
she was portrayed to be one of the biggest players in this entire story, and no, she's one of the first deaths. So.
Yeah. Well, again, that's why I think that this is all leading, that particular death is going to lead towards whatever crazy prophecy that Superman and Manchester Black saw, that maybe Mongol doesn't even realize that by killing Light Ray, so senselessly, he may have unleashed something even worse. That's my speculation.
Light side.
Yeah, exactly. Like something that's just like, oh fuck, like I was not prepared for
Yeah,
it.
and I hope they spell side the same way Dark Side is spelled.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. Come on. I know it's cheap and Tynan-ish, but I think it would be awesome.
That would be awesome. When you okay, are you making up Light Side, or is that a thing I don't know?
Hello? I think you dropped off for a second.
Yeah, we dropped off for a second.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
Yeah, I was saying, is Light Side a thing I don't know about, or are you making it up and it just sounds badass?
I'm making it up and it just sounds bad.
Yeah, because that does sound fucking badass. That would be interesting. The original Light Ray was a new god, right? If I remember right. So this isn't the first Light Ray.
Yes, yeah, the first Light Ray was a new god. Is a new god.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's still around.
Yeah. Is that guy with the red hair and the white suit?
Yeah, he was on the.
Yeah.
I think he might have been. I know he was in like the New God series from Jack Kirby, obviously, but I want to say he was on like the Justice League for a time, but I might be completely making that shit up. But I swear he was.
In either case, he really isn't an interesting character in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, you wound me,
He's
sir.
the Johnny Storm of the New Gods. He's the hot rod transformer. He's the Cheetor, the Maximal. He's the brash, just let's get this shit done. Fuck you, I'm fast.
Yeah.
Kind of character that gets in trouble a lot because he's stupid. But
I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
He's the French fry underneath the car seat.
Yeah, let's. I totally get that.
He's just kind of there.
Yeah, just kind of. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, he's just kind of there, but he mucks things up. I don't know. Yeah, but Action Comics, what a fucking book. Yeah. Martian Manhunter. I'm excited for this. I love John as a character, and especially his detective days. He's got a cat named. Is his cat named Choco? No, his cat's name is Double Stuff.
Name is
he was
Double Stuff.
Choco cereal.
Gotta love that.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Yeah. I'm all for more Jean John stories as long as they're interesting and slightly gritty.
Now,
and it looks like
hold on.
They're going that direction. Yeah.
I want to point out that I am pretty sure that Double Stuff and having a cat is something that's been around for a minute now. Like for a while. When John's been shown in his like personal life in normal John's.
Yeah, he's had
being
a cat
shown
for ages.
He's had a cat, and I want to say I'm damn certain that it's always been Double Stuff.
I think you're. I honestly don't know. I don't remember the cat's names he's had before, but you're probably right.
Yeah,
sure.
I have no idea.
It's that kind of shit that I love. He's the most alien character in the Justice League, but he's arguably the most human at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I was not wrong I thought I was going crazy, but Light Ray did join the Justice League in the 90s in Justice League America, which I don't even know how I know that because I've never read this book before. But maybe I
You've
just saw a
never read
cover
Justice League
for it.
America?
No, like not Justice League of America, Justice League America, like just
Oh,
Justice
gotcha.
League America from I guess from like 1991. I was like, I'd never seen this in my life. I must have, maybe subconsciously. I just knew that. I don't know. That's fucking weird. Anyway, all right.
I don't even know how I'd begin to find that
I-
because every time I type in Justice League, 1989 to 1996.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Wow.
And I knew Justice League of America and I knew Justice League International, but weird.
Interesting.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Not
it
really.
was
Says like
Justice League International. Okay, the series began with issue 26, taking over the numbering from JLI.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they got
They're
kicked
in
out of
my
every other
mind.
country and became just America.
Yeah. They're in my mind.
Well, get them out. Get them out. It's better
Yeah.
if you do that.
Yeah.
It's better for you if you do
Oh god.
that.
All right. With all that being said, are we ready to head back down to earth?
With 3 Batman adjacent
Yes,
titles.
with 3 Batman adjacent titles. So starting us off, we will be looking at the Detective Comics 2021 annual, which Rob will summarize for us right now.
Right. So this is from writer Mariko Tamaki and Matthew Rosenberg.
Woo woo.
Quite the dynamic duo, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, definitely
Art
a weird
by-
pairing though. Not what I would have.
Yeah.
Expected.
It is.
Well, I don't know. See, Matthew Rosenberg has a very, very good sense of gritty and interesting and kind of action based, while Mariko Tamaki has that gritty yet like emotional base.
Gritty,
So
really
it's almost
interesting.
like a very tight pairing that I mean I never would have thought of it, but it makes sense to me.
Well, because see, I usually think of Rosenberg as more of like a more for almost comedy, and because I know he's kind of a big disciple of Fraction and Bendis, and Tamaki I think more of as kind of like the the sort of character driven YA kind of stuff. She did a lot of graphic novels, and then obviously X-23 over at Marvel, which is very much like an all ages kind of book for its time.
I don't know. I've loved what she's done in Batman, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I saw this at first. I was like, what a weird writing pairing. It's not that I think their styles would clash. It's just I wouldn't think to put them together.
No, if you're doing like your whoops, I just smacked my microphone. If you're doing like you're doing and comparing their entire body of work, then yeah, that just doesn't make any sense at all.
It's
but
almost
if you look at what they've been doing in the Batman universe lately, hell yeah, I see that pair up.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's just for me, it was like someone got a randomizer and was like, "All right, who do we have in the Batman writers' room right now? These two. All right, slam them together. Let's see what happens." And
It's gonna
maybe,
get weird.
Maybe we should see what happens. So Rob, I'll let you tell us what happened, as we should.
I just took the pairing as Mariko Tamaki is the main writer and Matthew Rosenberg's writing the backups for the next 12 issues.
Mhm.
I like you guys went deep. That was impressive.
Yeah. Well, I think just for this issue, since they both, according to the credits, co-wrote it, and I was like,
Yeah.
really? All right, sure.
Yeah. Either
take
way,
it.
I think it was a really good team, really good pairing. Arts by David Lapham, colors from Trish Mulvihill and Lee Lothridge, with letters from Ariana Maher. So Bruce and Dick are in a new case in Gotham, a case that has some history for Bruce. The killer's father was a man that Thomas Wayne once saved from death just after the same man tried to kill the Waynes and stole a bunch of blood and killed people. This was Bruce's
Jerk.
first intro. Yeah, big jerk.
Mm.
You got enough blood inside you, buddy. This was Bruce's first intro to death and a big lesson from his. Okay, I hate the Canadian Blood Services catch line is blood it's in you to give, and while the meaning is there, I just can't help but think the blood is in you to live. You got the word wrong, but that's always been me, and like I know it's there and it's good meaning, but fuck, it always bugs me. So sorry, that was a weird tangent.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Might I also point out that Thomas Wayne is the best doctor in the entire world because that
fuck
dude
yeah.
had his arm cut off and he just like like stopped him from bleeding off with one hand.
Yeah, that's fucking impressive.
Wow.
On the street, no. What the hell did he have?
His
He
hand.
he didn't even take.
He had one hand and he was pointing the other one at little Bruce. He saved that guy's hand being a tourniquet with one hand, probably
One hand.
three
But-
fingers and a thumb. Best doctor ever.
I'm just picturing he picks up the arm, puts the hand over the wound. Here, stop the bleeding. Oh my god. You just broke me, Josh. Fuck. Oh god.
Do we need him in
What a
it?
damn doctor. Okay, I'm good. Ooh, shit. It's the imagery is hilarious. So twisted. Anyway, this was Bruce's first intro to death, and a big lesson from his father that they don't choose who to save, they just start with the patient in front of them. Now, this case has caused a big debate between Bruce and Dick, who are on opposite sides of the new Arkham Tower. Bruce thinks Gotham needs the help it can get, while Dick thinks putting the criminally insane back in Gotham just gives them a cause to escape. Why not transfer them somewhere else, maybe a little safer? Working together, though, on saving this murderous man, Bruce gets a little rough, while Dick tries to talk him down, that person being the killer. A sentiment the GCPD do not reciprocate. While they might love Nightwing, they treat the inmates unfairly and also like regular criminals. Upon final capture, Bruce has him transferred to Arkham Tower under the supervision of Dr. Chase Meridian. Shadows of the Bat now begins. And this seems very interesting, but I have no clue what the angle is with this story. The big talk is Arkham Tower is evil, but mental health keeps getting talked about as a necessary thing to be treated in Gotham. And to be honest, I'm as torn as Bruce and Dick on this issue. Wait, is this going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? We have 12 issues to find out, sure, but it just seems a little confusing right now.
Yeah, and I mean
so
they're
far,
not.
this
I don't
Arkham
know.
Tower seems good.
They're
but-
not exactly selling it as the best thing too. I mean, it seems like Shadows of the Bat is Arkham Tower falling into catastrophe. So,
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
Who
it's
saw
like-
that coming?
yeah, it's almost like if you want us to have a bit more of maybe a moderate opinion, like, oh, I don't know which side I fall on. maybe don't show preview images of like the city on fire. Because then you're just gonna be like, oh, well, of course. I mean, I can see the future. You're showing me the future, and it looks like it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, it's a coin toss at this point.
Yeah.
And Dr. Chase Meridian, well, not her comic book debut. I think it's her mainstream comic book debut, which was a bit of a shock because fuck, I still try to forget those movies. But yeah, it could go any fucking direction.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to feel yet about it. I know it hasn't started yet, but shit, you at least have an idea of what the story is going to be with the prologue, I guess you could call this. Still, either way, I always love seeing Bruce and Dick working together again. The art I felt was a little weak at times, while interesting and detailed. It's just this issue was all over the place for me. It's a 7 out of 10, but it's just it's hard to really collect my thoughts on it.
Yeah, for me, it was a solid premise. I think the debate over Arkham Tower is certainly an interesting one. Again, not counting the fact they're kind of showing us what the result may or may not be. But yeah, it just there were moments where it did feel a little scattered. Although I kind of liked how they tried to bring it full circle with some of the some of the references to Bruce's past they talk about at the beginning of the issue. So yeah, I definitely think there's an interesting amount going into it that makes me want to know more about what the Arkham Tower saga and Shadows of the Bat is going to be all about. I really dug the art actually, just because I'm a huge David Latham fan. If you've ever read Stray Bullets or I'm trying to think, I mean I haven't read Harbinger, but I know he did that. like the classic Harbinger.
He's been doing some stuff here at DC as well.
Yeah,
I just can't think of what it is.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, I thought the art was gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I was a huge sucker for him, and like such a perfect setting, putting him in Gotham City, because Stray Bullets is all about like that crime fiction stuff. What is it? Young Liars, I think, is the book that I'm thinking of. Young Liars. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of his art. So already going in, I was like, this stuff looks cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think I think before I have any like final conclusions, I'll just need to maybe read a little bit more of what Shadows the Bat is actually about. Before I have any kind of decisive opinions about this. What this whole story may be about, but as a start, it was solid. It just I definitely agree with you, Rob. There were some points where it was just a little all over the place.
All right, I think that this was something that we did not need to see at all. For the page count, as a matter of fact, I'm disappointed that this is the story that they went with. It was kind of really bland, but the way that they did this story, it was good. The story wasn't all that interesting to me because it's all shit that we've seen before and Dick and Batman just talking about it. But they did it well. They did it really well. And on top of that, I think the art is gorgeous. I really mean that. And it got an 8 out of me.
Nice.
I liked it.
Nice.
Just going through it again, and I think I can, at least in greater detail, go into what I felt was odd about it. His scenery and objects are just beautiful, but the people are just a little off for me.
Yeah, it's definitely
a
little stylized, and I I totally get that it may not be for everyone. I think I'm definitely so accustomed to it that I'm like, all right, I can roll with this anytime, any place, anywhere. And also, like, I'd never seen David Latham draw Nightwing before, so that was really cool. No, I'm not gonna lie, there's some bias there.
But the building work is fantastic.
Yeah.
The scenes of the city are just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is really good. I mean, for the art style, I think everything fits pretty good. I still think it's cool that he held off that bleeding with the one arm, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they clearly draw it that way too.
Yeah.
It's like he's still wearing his jacket, Thomas Wayne. Like, what the fuck did he use to cover the wound? It just blows my mind. You're right. He's the best doctor in the world.
All right, enough about Thomas Wayne and Batman, but I guess we got more. Well, was Nightwing in this? No, Nightwing isn't in this either. Right?
In
right.
Detective Comics?
Here I am, the one telling everybody about it.
Oh wait, are you talking about the Detective Comics annual?
No, Teen Titans.
Oh no. I don't think he was in this one, but it still features some characters that are certainly related to Nightwing, so let's go with that. But that is Teen Titans Academy number 9. Teen Titans Academy number 9.
And unfortunately, one thing that I called and is not correct is that Bunker was Red X. And I might have to stop for a second and go yell at my dogs because they're whining, which means they want to bark. But this was written by Tim Sheridan, art by Mike Norton, colors from Hi-Fi, letters by Rob Lee, with a cover from Rafa Sandoval and Alejandro Sanchez. So Cyborg and Donna Troy are hosting this tour of the academy for potentially new students, and everyone there is calling Flash a murderer, talking about Wally, of course. And naturally, that means Wally should show up with his kids who want to enroll in the academy. Meanwhile, Greg and Brat Girl, are stealing the H-Dial from Miguel. Nevermore is being a douche, and they talk about it while being hard to keep track of kids. Intro: Bunker is back, leading the kids. Out of nowhere, Red X appears in a hologram. They disable it, and he's still really there. That was trippy. I didn't expect that. Mm-hmm. He's there just to talk shit about the Titans, the Academy, and to do it to the people that's there. Flash races those people away, and then comes back and picks a fight with the Red X. The lights go out, Red X poofs, and Cyborg is down. They gather to talk about the Red X problem, but the kids are all together with the H-dial trying to talk to the dead. The dial up's something that shows shapes, but that's it. One of them kind of reminded me of Hawk, but not enough things shooting off of his back. But that's it. Miguel busts in, shuts the whole thing down, and it ends with Roy Harper there, wondering what this is all about, where he's at, why there's kids everywhere, and why the dude out front looks like him, the statue. It was fun. This fits in the TTA story, and it looks super good. I really like this one, so it gets an 8.5.
Yeah, I was really excited for this one. So I actually went back and looked at the Future State Teen Titans issue that showed the seance scene, and honestly, it's cut for cut. It is a perfect duplicate. It's new art. It's not like copy and paste, but all the detail is the same. The dialogue's the same. The character placement's the same. It's an attention to detail that honestly we sadly don't get much of these days.
Right,
Being like
exactly.
what 8 months in between issues of that appearance of this story, which is just so good. And this part raises questions because they really alluded to that seance back in Future State Teen Titans. That was what caused the four riders to come out and start possessing people. But this clearly, that didn't happen. And it cut off with Miguel saying, "You have to give it back to me right now." And that was it. It didn't show who was there, didn't show what was in the light. But now we see, and I was thinking the same thing as Hawk, that next to what may or may not be Hawk is Jericho, and then Mystery Person, and I'm thinking Jenny Lynn Hayden, but she's not dead, so I don't fucking know. But it's
Damn,
very,
good guesses.
yeah, very interesting. That third guy, though, I could go any way for me. I don't know. But yeah, like that's so many interesting things going on right now. Red X watch is back on. Like, let's cheer for that. But I'm thinking it's Miguel. And I'm just going through it again. He's not in the room during the hologram stuff. He's mysteriously disappeared during that. I think it's Miguel. I think it's gotta be.
You think Miguel is Red X?
I think Miguel is Red X. And going back and reading the Future State Teen Titans stuff, it just I don't have solid evidence for it yet, but it kind of makes sense to me. His knowledge, at least in Future State, his knowledge of the H dial is like pinpointed. It's on the ball. Just makes sense to me. And I think I made this assumption way back when TTA first started, and I'm going back to it. It's Miguel. And
all right.
Final answer, Bob. That's it. But all in all, as an issue, I've been enjoying this series as a whole, and this Red X mystery has been driving me fucking crazy. So I'm happy we're getting back to it, despite the fact I enjoyed the summer break story. It was fun and witty, and I do hope for more from this book after we finish Red X. So this was a 9 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it, and seeing those Titans of the past appearing for a split second was very, very nice, very interesting. So many ways this story could go, so many directions. I don't know. This might be a connection to Future State that just got cut off. Who knows?
Or maybe not. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Brandon?
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't really have a ton of thoughts on this one. I thought the art was solid, but nothing really phenomenal. And it was, it was kind of cool to see Wally show up and interact with some of the Titans for a little bit. And, certainly the cliffhanger with Roy Harper is very exciting because I want to see how the rest of the Titans are going to react to him being alive. Not that that's anything new for these people, but I don't know. I'm kind of done with the whole Red X mystery. Like at this point, it feels like it's been going on forever. And I'm just, I don't know that I care anymore. Like at this point, I'm just like, if you're gonna show me, just show me. Like, you don't even need to dance around it anymore. That's impatient, yes, but I'm fine with that. But yeah, no, just for me, it was just kind of all right. Like I don't know that I had incredibly strong opinions about it. It's just kind of there for me. But I hope the next issue is also, entertaining as well. Because I mean, this one was entertaining. I will give it that. Just, it didn't really blow me away. So I gave it a 7.5.
Fair enough.
And closing our Batman books or Bat adjacent books, although it feels wrong to say that considering this is a book that has no Batman in it at all. I mean, I guess Teen Titans Academy didn't either, but still, Nightwing is certainly his own man. But that will be Nightwing, the 2021 annual #1. This features the, I guess, one and done creative team of Tom Taylor, not one and done for him, at least not as a writer, but Tom Taylor with art from Kyan Torme and Daniel HDR, with inks from Kyan Torme, Raul Fernandez, and Daniel HDR, with colors from Rain Barredo and John Kalich, and letters from Wes Abbott. This is not a very intricate story. The basic premise is someone is impersonating Red Hood and took down someone who was going to be an informant for the FBI, and Dick Grayson needs to find out, was that really Jason? And if not, what the hell is going on? But before we can figure out that, we have a flashback to the past, classic Disco Wing Dick Grayson as he's being called into Wayne Manor by Alfred himself to assist in an urgent matter that needs to be taken care of right away. So Dick makes his way over to Wayne Manor, just wondering what the hell is going on, only to find out that he's been duped by Alfred, who I think, pulling the strings as his English butler ways, is trying to get these two to spend more time together, given that Jason has just been benched by Batman and is not very happy about it. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? But in this situation,
that flashback segue, it caught me off guard, and I'm like, wait a minute, why in
Yeah.
the fuck is Alfred there? For a second, it did anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was just like, for me, I was like, oh, okay, Titan's Tower then. All right, cool. Gotta be the classic Nightwing days if he's back in Titan's Tower at least. I mean, or at least living in Titan's Tower was my original thought of it. But anyway, that portion of the book really just revolves around Dick and Jason taking down, or really just doing their patrol, and during their patrol they take down a would-be kidnapper, and Jason shows his classic, just brutal personality, and Dick is like, you need to calm down. You are going way too hard. I understand that you had a violent past. We all have that. But we as Robin need to be the kind of, light in the darkness to care for people, whereas Batman is just the darkness itself. But then we cut back to present day. Dick finds Jason, who's hiding out at a warehouse, and informs him that he is on camera and seemingly has been killing people. Jason catches him up saying, I didn't do it. And Dick's like, all right, cool. Like, I trust you. We have this relationship now. I'm not going to question that. But they're able to kind of try and figure out the mystery of who has actually been impersonating Jason all this time. And they discover that is none other than Preston Payne, the fourth Clayface, I want to say, who has been working for a dealer that is tied to Jason's past, a dealer that seemingly sold the drugs that made his mother OD and really kind of messed up Jason's life in those early days. So Jason has a lot of baggage with this dealer by the name of Bilsma, and really wants to take him down to exact some kind of justice and make sure that he doesn't get away with the horrible lives the lives that he has horribly ruined over many years. But they're able to stop him before he tries to flee and head to his, I assume, private area in the Maldives, and just a really good team up for Dick and Jason as they wrap up for the night, rolling away in their crushed Batmobile, which is going to be very hard to explain to Bruce, but they'll keep it a secret because that's what they do as blood brothers. This issue, this issue should have been phenomenal for me. This issue, I should have loved it, and I think I really wanted to, because I remember when it was first advertised, I was like, this sounds great. This is, it's going to be a classic team up of Dick and Jason doing their thing and probably airing out some of their own bat trauma slash baggage, and it'll be lots of fun and hopefully really enjoyable. But I don't know. I was bored. I was really bored. Like it felt like
Huh.
a very run of the mill team up story to me. I didn't feel as connected as I wanted to, and that was a shame, because I think, again, in theory, this should be great. It's just a continuation of all the strong character work that Tom Taylor's been doing on Nightwing so far, and getting to do a fun little one and done with Jason. But just for the story, at least, I really could not have cared less, and I actually had to take a break halfway through because I was so just disinterested. And it's funny. I think I was also kind of comparing it to, there was an annual a little while back in Red Hood and the Outlaws, which was basically kind of the same thing, which was Jason with Artemis and Bizarro, kind of investigating a circus, and Dick shows by because he's also investigating that circus at the same time. And I think that is, for me at least, was just a bit more satisfying than what we got here, because at least that was, as part of the rebirth era. I was trying to reestablish their dynamic, but this just felt like, nothing that I hadn't seen before. It was just yet another team up between the two, and nothing about it felt particularly stand out and interesting to me, that I could, really be like, wow, I really enjoyed that. It was just kind of there. It was like, you know, it, what I'll say about this particular annual is this: if you are looking for a very basic, you know, very run of the mill type of Nightwing team up book with Red Hood, this book will satisfy you. But if you're looking for something that's going to try something new, at least from my perspective, it's just not here. The art from Kyan Torme and Daniel HDR is fine. It's not great or anything, but it serves its purpose, which is kind of a shame because they have this beautiful cover from Nicholas Scott, and it just makes me wish that was what the interiors looked like as well. But it's not bad artwork. It's just it's kind of serviceable. But yeah, I think I expected a lot more from this, and what we got was just not that at all. So I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10. Originally it was a 6.5, but I bumped it up a little bit more just because I think I really just wanted to enjoy it more than I actually did. Maybe I'll come back to it at some point and be a bit more positive about it. But my initial read was just, this is very generic, and I wasn't that excited about it.
Well, I hope you do, man, because I think this book is beautiful. I love the art in it. The writing is fantastic. I thought it was so damn good. I really don't know what else to say about it. I did drop it a half a point because a couple of the faces were off, and Red Hood's mask was emotive in one frame, and the flashback bit was a little jarring. It being current Nightwing at the Titan's Tower just made sense to be current when I read it, and then I was like, wait a minute, Alfred's alive.
Yeah.
But some of the key points that really sold it to me was, honestly, this is a Red Hood book called, in Nightwing, and it's shown me I would totally be down with Tom Taylor writing a Nightwing or a Red Hood book. Excuse me. It was cementing the backstory of Red Hood that we've got with the multiverse coming back together. And there were a couple cool little things that happened in the book that I just absolutely love. Jason stole the wheels out the Batmobile. That's current canon. That's badass. I love Dick's commentary on the crowbar and the similarity. Jason says that it's to Batman's inspiration. And then Jason's like, shouldn't you just walk around, or Dick was like, shouldn't you just walk around making the shape of a crowbar all the time?
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Lineker's lieutenant is at the corner of Redondo and Lucas. That made me laugh out loud.
That's a nice little nod.
I like Preston Payne as Clayface. He's cool as hell. And then I really dug that at the very end when Jason was beating the shit out of that guy, Nightwing had to call him Robin to snap him back out of it. All of that makes sense to me, and I loved looking at it while I was reading it. I gave this a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. For me, it's a fun story with family and cars. It's basically the Bat and the Furious. But seriously, this was nice and simple. I love seeing the brotherly connection that the Robins have, no matter who they are. But honestly, especially Dick and Jason being the first two, and just being wildly different Robins, even in terms of fan reaction and reception. After all, Dick wasn't voted to be killed off, but
right?
Yeah.
Poor dude.
I think at this point in history, we love all the Robins equally, except for one in particular, which I will not name again. Otherwise, Josh will yell at me.
No, I won't. Well, maybe I will.
Yeah, a little CK that one time Clark Kent was Robin.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's much
But yeah,
better.
I enjoyed this. This was a 9 out of 10 for me. I forgot about that annual in Red Hood and the Outlaws, Brandon, but now that you mentioned it, that was honestly, comparing the two, there was a better story. But this I think was still just nice to see. But you can give me 15 different stories of Dick and Jason being on an adventure, and I will love every single one.
See, I think in normal situations I would be the same, but I don't know. This one was just like, I think that was maybe because I had such high expectations. I because of all the sort of newer developments that have been going into Nightwing under Taylor and Redondo, that I was like, okay, this will be a great way for you to kind of try and maybe re-examine the relationship between Dick and Jason, maybe take a closer look at it. I don't know, so it's like something that fits in thematically with all the newer stuff that's been going on in,
Sounds
Leaping
like
into the
Brandon's just not a Red Hood fan.
Light. How dare you, sir? I love Red Hood.
He may not have been born, but he went back in time and voted Jason to die.
I did. I would have. No, I would never. I would never vote for a child to die.
Well, hey, if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have Red Hood.
That's
Yeah,
fair. That's fair.
very true.
Well, actually, that's a whole other can of worms that we can do on maybe our anniversary episode. But
All right.
yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted something new. Like, I wanted a newer expression, a newer statement about their relationship, and this was just like, yep, like Jason feels inadequate. Seen that before. Jason has violent tendencies. Seen that before. Jason hunts down a mob dealer from his past. Seen that before. It was like a checklist of things that I've seen before, which isn't necessarily bad. But again, if I wanted something that fit more in line with the other kind of newer progressive stuff that Taylor had done with Nightwing, and this, for me at least, just didn't feel like that at all. So
Weird.
I get it though. I get it. It is a very different story, especially from Tom Taylor.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not bad in any respect. It is just, for me, it's just generic. So anyway, we can move on to our final book for this week, and that is Justice League Incarnate, number 1.
Sounds like somebody misses the unsanity.
I know, right? The opposite of incarnate is an uncarnate.
That's the version of this team on Earth 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Justice League Incarnate number 1, beginning of the new 5-issue series exploring the Justice Legion in full action. So, yeah, take it away, Rob.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're ready for an acid trip, but then Josh mentioned this team on Earth 3 as an entirely different team, and I just died. Okay, so, yeah, I mentioned on Discord I eat this multiverse shit for breakfast, but this is okay. So, this is from writer Joshua Williamson and Dennis Culver, with arts by Brendan Peterson, Andre Bresson, and Tom Derenick, with colors from Hi-Fi and letters from Tom Napolitano. So the retaliators of Earth 8 are relaxing and questioning Machine Head's disappearance when Dr. Multiverse arrives with Machine Head's head in hand. Also appearing behind her is a strange lightning bolt-shaped tear in the sky. They quickly go to blame her and go for an attack, but are stopped by Tartarus invading. That's not the Legions of Hell. That is a Thanos-like character. Over on Earth Zero, Calvin and Thomas, Superman and Batman in the Justice League Incarnate, are scouting Avery, the Flash of China. While initially disagreeing on her skill set, both agree this was Barry's choice and they will honor his wishes. They go to try and convince her to join the mission as she is needed, but as soon as Barry is mentioned, she races off into the boom tube they've opened. No convincing needed, yet. Now, in Bleed Space, she meets the... Yeah, yet. That's big foreshadowing. So now in Bleed Space, she meets the rest of the team, and after a brief recap of events, they show her why she is needed. There's terror in reality, but they can't find it in the multiverse. They do know that Barry's caused it, and using his design for the Cosmic Treadmill, she can use her Speed Force energy and connection to Barry Allen to find it. She does, and half the team get teleported to Earth 8, only to find it in ruins. Most of the Retaliators are dead, save for one who blames the JLI for this devastation. They know all about the multiverse and the problems it causes, and they voted to go along with Machine Head's plan. Tartarus then attacks the JLI, but is interrupted by Darkseid, who has come looking for the tear. Darkseid and Tartarus know each other and begin to fight for the tear, while the JLI work to stabilize and remove the tear so Darkseid cannot get his hands on it. They succeed as Darkseid snaps Tartarus' neck, and as he monologues that Apocalypse and Tech already calculated the tear's next destination, he opens a boom tube and leaves. The JLI follow, but Avery is unsure of herself. Dr. Multiverse gives a big pep talk and pulls her into the boom tube. Back in Bleed Space, the remaining JLI have lost signal of the away team, but Orion, the new god, arrives, claiming he is the only one that can defeat Darkseid. But Calabac and Grail are with an army of parademons. They have arrived to kill them all. It's a wild fucking book. And
Is it weird calling a new team JLI?
It was really weird because I'm not going to say Justice League Incarnate every time. So to say JLI, it was like, this is another. There was another JLI, wasn't there? But no, yeah, definitely, it's weird.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Rob, are you? I mean, I don't know if it's just your connection, but for me, you're kind of cutting out at like every other word.
Oh. Yeah, it's his connection.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it's just during your summary, it was a little hard to hear.
Shit. Oh, I'm on wire as well. I don't know how to fix that right now. How is it bad?
It's sounding fine now, but it's just when you were talking for like, for long periods of time, it would just kind of cut out at every other word.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
heard enough to get the point, though.
Yeah. It's a little jarring sometimes because it's like listening to a conversation with skips,
like an old-fashioned telephone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Oracle during the entire Fear State run.
Yeah. It's just, literally it was like that, where it's just like justice and dark earth, like it was just almost like jarring at points.
Hello?
What just happened?
Oh, I think Buddy stopped recording.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but our buddy stopped recording.
Oh,
that's all right. I'll iron out the kinks later on.
Does it have like a time limit or something?
6 hours.
6 hours.
Oh, weird.
Yep. I'll figure out what's going on. But in any case.
Yes. So, Justice League Incarnate. This is a wild fucking book so far, honestly. I got one request of DC. Bring back the fucking Zoo Crew, you cowards.
Aren't the Zoo Crew dead? Didn't they die in death metal?
Don't say that.
Hey, honestly, I mean, death metal and nothing matters because everything matters.
Yeah, the Zoo Crew matters.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody can come back to life.
Yeah. I need Yankee Poodle. I need Fastback.
Yankee Poodle Dandy.
Yeah. I need Iron Pig. I need all those guys. That was my childhood, damn it. I only had a couple issues of Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, like 22, 26, really sporadic, but I read the shit out of them. And every time Captain Carrot gets brought up, I'm like, you're teasing me so fucking hard. Give me the rest of the animals. Anyway, it's enough about the best team in the multiverse. The art is good. The story's interesting. It's certainly wild and can get very confusing if you didn't spend years just studying Grant Morrison's mind and the multiversity. And I love the DC multiverse so much. I once started a fucking page of just cataloging every new Earth that gets introduced, and I was just missing a couple. I've since lost that file, but it's wild. Like I said, I eat this shit for breakfast. I love just DC multiverse stuff, and to see basically all these different characters from all these different Earths coming together is wild. Especially to see Earth 8, which has just faced so much shit in the past, is, for those that haven't figured it out, is the Marvel universe in the DC multiverse, to be the first Earth to visit, and it's going to bring, like, obviously after the story, be sure to look at CBR and Screen Rant in the next week or so for headlines such as Darkseid broke Thanos' neck and the Avengers are evil in the DC universe, because that's gonna fucking happen, and you're gonna click and realize.
Yeah, I think I saw one that was like the DC universe version of the Avengers face their own version of Infinity War, and it was like, it's not really what happens, but okay,
No.
sure.
Oh shit!
It was more the Annihilation Wave.
It was
Like,
Wait a
yeah,
minute.
it was literally just because Doctor Multiverse shows up to warn them of something, and some jackass read that and said, "Yup, that's just like when Hulk showed up and warned Doctor Strange of Thanos," and it's like, no, it's not.
No.
No.
There's nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
Jeff Johns did tell us that there was a Green Hulk coming in our future.
Yeah, but this is a big blue baby.
Yeah, no, this is
I
this
really
is
want
not that
that
at all.
secret crisis to
Yeah.
happen, but it will never fucking happen.
No, not in any of our
Four
lifetimes.
years to go. I'm counting down 4 years for Secret Crisis.
It is not going to happen.
No,
It's not
I
gonna
can
happen,
tell you that
but-
for as long as Casado works at Marvel, it will never happen. There's still, I don't know why, there's still such animosity between doing a crossover. Really, just with the higher ups, the creatives don't care at all.
I mean, at this point,
Well,
you could
yeah.
say it's Disney and Warner Brothers' fault because they
Oh
will
yeah,
never work
that
together.
too.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Unless
I thought-
Warner Brothers does sell DC, Marvel buys it, and then we can get our Secret Crisis.
Yeah, I hope that
Shut your
doesn't happen.
face.
Yeah,
I mean, if you guys, there was rumors about that a couple of years ago.
I don't.
that's way too much power.
I don't.
It's
Shush.
way too much power.
I don't want a Batman that smiles and makes jokes.
I mean, I don't mind
That's
that
ridiculous.
necessarily. It's just no company should have two collective universes under their
No.
belt, especially
Just
not
re-release the
multi-million
Adam
films.
West Batman.
But he smiled and made jokes.
That's what I'm saying. That's
That's all
if
that's-
Disney gets Batman, then just re-release the Adam West Batman. Don't try on your own. You'll fuck it all up.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Worse than Warner Brothers ever thought of doing, and they
Yeah.
fuck it up bad.
Yeah.
But as far as JLI is concerned, holy shit, this was busy.
Mm-hmm.
The art was really good. The colors were fucking amazing. They popped like right off the page. All the characters, the quick swing, so much going on. It was just super busy, man. I hope it irons out. But this reminds me of his Flash run in a way, where there's just too much going on, and ultimately, I'm assuming not a lot will matter. This issue just didn't do it for me, man. 6.75 out of 10. And I love all these characters.
Shoot.
Most of them that I've heard of, anyway.
I think
Well,
I
this
think
is
I was
nine out of
definitely
10.
on the opposite side of the fence, and I think that's because of my own biases. I'm definitely right there with Rob. I love the multiverse stuff. I love sort of looking at and examining how the physics of these different worlds actually work, and sort of the mysteries that have been developing, especially after Death Metal. I've been really curious to see how they play with that, and I was a big fan of Infinite Frontier. I felt like it was a lot more of a study type of event rather than just. I mean, it definitely had its action. Don't get me wrong, but it was definitely more interested in looking at how the multiverse actually operates now. This was going to really hone in on the Justice League Incarnate, and their kind of mission, and so I think that definitely worked for me. The only thing I was really disappointed by was just I wish that Andre Bresson, who was one of the artists in this book, had gotten more time to draw or more pages to draw, because he did a book with Josh Williamson called Birthright, which is really, really cool. And when I saw that he was going to be an artist on this issue, I was like, oh, sweet. Whole issue with the Birthright team is going to be fucking great. But he only did like 6 pages or something. It was just, I kind of wish there had been more. But other than that, I really love the story, and I'm interested to see what kind of crazy worlds and crazy scenarios they get into next. I saw in one of the solicits they're going to like a vampire world or something, so I'm super excited for that. But yeah, no, this one got an 8.75 out of 10 for me. It's probably my favorite book this week.
Yeah, as a 9 for me. I'm excited to see them doing, because this is what I think step 2 in his 3-part plan.
Yes.
For Infinite Frontier, Joshua Williams' plan. So if this is step 2, I'm just so excited for what step 3 is.
I just hope it works out, because it reminds me so much of his Flash run that it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
And I don't mind multiverse shit. I'm excited for Justice League Omega or whatever the hell that's going to end up being. But I don't know. It was just, maybe it was just that it reminded me so much of the Flash run. It's got me leery. There's a lot of stuff going on, and while what's going on in the issue is cool, it doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot of direction yet. And
I mean, that's fair. We've been hurt by him before, so I completely understand. But I will say this: I am so for giving the design of Darkseid the classic look again, and by classic I mean the earliest I ever saw in the 90s. Just no more Omega symbols all over his body and looking like he was made out of rock. It's just gray skin, darker gray suit, and that's it. I'm down for that. I thought the design, it's so simple, but it's so to the point.
Yeah.
He's still associated with the Omega symbol, though, because Roy Harper was the Omega Lantern.
Yes, but at least it's not emblazoned on Darkseid's chest.
Yeah, you don't need a bunch of Omega symbols all over him.
Yeah.
It's just
maybe he'll get a cape with an Omega symbol on it.
I hope not.
He used to have a cape back in like early days of Darkseid. He had a cape.
Was it a cape?
If I'm not mistaken.
He had like a tunic. It's like something like that.
Which is like a hooded cape, kind of. You can pull him up over your head a little bit.
I don't know that he ever had a cape.
I think like way early on.
Maybe it was a poncho.
It's a poncho. That's it.
He
lives on Apocalypse, so he really doesn't like rain.
Yeah.
A toga?
I know they mentioned there's only one Darkseid in the entire multiverse, but fuck, I need more. I need toga.
He swallowed them all up. He's the ultimate Darkseid.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate Darkseid.
Which is why there has to be a light side.
Exactly.
All right. Well, now that we have finished our main reviews for this week, do we want to head over to our top 3 books for this week and some of our favorite moments?
I think we should.
Yeah. All right. So, closing it off for this week, we'll be taking a look at our top 3 books, as I literally just said, and a favorite moment if we have one. So, Rob, I'll let you get us started.
All right, so my top 3, the number 3 was a bit of a toss-up for me. One was going to get number 3, the other was going to get best moment, and it came as follows. Number 3 is TTA. I said before, I'm super excited to get back into the Red X mystery, just so we can close it out, please, for the love of God. Number 2, I had Action Comics, just a damn good book, beautifully drawn, beautifully written, heavy as fuck. I did not expect so much death in the second goddamn part. And number 1, I had Justice League. I nearly said International. Incarnate. I'm just, I love it. Any book that has Captain Carrot gets an A+ from me.
Yeah.
And for me, best moments. So my technically number 4 book is the Nightwing Annual. It's just Dick and Jason being bros. I thought that was very sweet, very touching. And they're 2 of my favorite Robins. Damien's adorable. Tim is there. But Dick and Jason,
Tim is there. How dare you?
They don't do anything with him. He does so much, but does nothing at the same time.
I say good day.
It's
I'm sick.
valid.
Good day, sir.
You get nothing. You lose.
You lose.
Oh yeah, but no, Dick and Jason together as a team up is always fantastic. And that's me.
Huh? All right, my top three are coming. They're almost very similar to Rob's. Number three is Teen Titans Academy. I really enjoyed that. Two is Action Comics. That was amazing. But Nightwing was awesome to me, and that took number one. My favorite moment, and it's not a huge panel, but it sure is cool. In Nightwing, Red Hood and Nightwing are walking away from a burning Batmobile, like action movie style, and it looks so badass. I love it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, my top three for this week. At number three, I had the Justice League Dark Annual. A lot of cool stuff being developed there. Number two, I had Action Comics. I've sung its praises enough. All I have to say is just check out the series for yourself. But number one definitely had to go to Justice League Incarnate. Number one, that was just such a cool series they're doing, and I'm just really excited to see what happens next with all the crazy multiversal stuff. Um, but I think my favorite panel has to be in Action Comics. Just seeing Superman just swing directly for Mongol was just really cool looking, and just really showed his power and all that stuff. So yeah, I really dug it. But while that was a lot of fun, it's now time to shift our attention to something that is less fun, and that is, of course, as always,
The biggest stinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
so gentlemen, which title made your biggest stinker today? I know for me at least, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, considering I've said to be one of the biggest Nightwing fans out there, but unfortunately, sometimes these things just happen. But even though it was not my lowest score, my biggest stink for this week just had to be the Nightwing 2021 annual. Again, not a bad issue by any means, but I think it was disappointing from what I was hoping for, from what I was expecting, versus what we actually got.
Well, on the exact polar opposite of you, I love that book, but exactly the same as you, I'm a ginormous Batman fan, and lately the scores for Batman have been total shit from me because I just don't like what's been happening there. This is no different. It's just not there. It was all fluffernutter and peanut butter, and that's kind of gross. Batman Annual sucked.
Fluffer Nutter is
Good day, sir.
You get no Fluffer Nutter.
So
What about you, Rob? What was your
Okay.
stinker?
So I have not had a chance to go through Joker Annual completely yet, but when I do end up finishing that, I feel like that will be my biggest stinker. But for now, until I have, it's Detective Comics Annual. It's confusing the hell out of me as to where we're going, and I haven't been super excited about a detective book in what feels like ages, which sucks because once upon a time it was my favorite book. And I love a good mystery, and it's the one book that you're supposed to be guaranteed a good mystery every month, and I just don't remember the last time I had a good one. So this was no difference. Yeah, Detective Comics Annual for now.
Well, the Bat Family just got shit on everywhere.
Yep.
yeah,
Guano Bomb.
sometimes it's like that. I don't have any nominations for the dump list this week. I don't know if any of you guys had any in particular. Obviously, Batman the Detective is ending, so it's not really something we can move. And I don't know that I felt strongly about any others that I really wanted to move them away. So
No, but I do want to definitely consider moving Wonder Woman off of the dump list if her next issue from this continues this story and makes it interesting. Because
I'm all
Maybe.
for that, but I want to say the issue, like the annual story, might not continue yet because that looks like it's going to lead into Trial of the Amazons.
Yeah.
So we might not get more of that till next year.
yeah, well, just sit back and see, I guess. Sometimes
I'm
it's
not
very
putting one
unhelpful not reading solicits.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, that is the end of our show. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will be here next week talking comics, and we hope you'll stop by. Remember to go to notarobotpodcasts.com for all of our episodes and our other shows with all sorts of people. But with that, there's only one way that we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.